It's your boy ConcertViz34, and today I want to talk about the Hella Mega Tour. This is a tour that's going to start in the European region of the world June 13, 2020, and end in North America in August, late August of 2020. I don't want to talk about the European dates that will have Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer. I want to talk about the North American dates, United States and Canada dates that will have Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer, and then the Interrupters as this act that's going to get on there. These shows are going to start, or the build time is around 5:30 local time. Here looking at some of these venues. So you will have a lot of acts going. It's almost like a mini festival, and you're bringing this alternative rock of all kinds into one big mold. And I want to talk about this because this tour is going to be very interesting on how successful it is at filling up seats. You know, we had Blink-182 and Lil Wayne earlier this year, and that tour did not sell that well. Now, people could say it's Lil Wayne and blah, 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 but to me, I think it's more of the deteriorating popularity of Blink-182. Look, if any popular band tours with Lil Wayne, the fans are going to still go and see them. If 21 Pilots has Lil Wayne as an opener, this 21 Pilots is still going to sell out. And, you know, the key is 21 Pilots is in their prime. So I don't think it's Lil Wayne's fault. I think Blink-182's popularity, the lack of Tom DeLonge being there is why it's there. But this is a continuation of how is this alternative rock of yesteryear, of my generation that I grew up in the late 90s. And many of these bands started in the early 2000s when I was in high school. How are they going to fare in this modern ticket marketplace? Now, one thing about these North American shows, again, that I want to focus on is they're either football stadiums, they're either baseball stadiums, or there's some sort of larger outdoor stadium, because you have in Colorado the Dick's Sporting Good Park, which is one of those outlier venues. It's not and in Hershey Park Stadium, another one of those outlier venues. Everything else is a baseball or football related stadium. A professional team plays at one of these parks, or has. Keyword has is that's going to be the Globe Life Field venue in Dallas, Texas, where that's actually going to be vacated by the Rangers coming up after this year as they move to their new arena, or new ballpark in Arlington that has a roof. So that's going to raise attendance, which it won't, but trust me. What I think is, I think that there's going to be an issue selling out these venues. I think the same thing that went on with Blink-182 as they released, it's the same thing that's going on with a lot of artists. Chance the Rapper canceled his tour because he had to spend time with his family. Nicki Minaj, who really has a fan base of Twitter followers, she had to cancel her tour and then retire. And I pointed that out on Twitter, that people weren't buying seats. The Barclays Center, tons of seats available. Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, where Nicki has previously filled up different radio shows, tons of empty seats. I think, depending on what the price points are, that this tour may not be able to sell that well. The premium seating, the seating on the fields, the seatings that are really close, those are going to sell out, and they're going to be very expensive. That's my prediction. It doesn't take a rocket science to understand that. But the seats where you're 30 miles away from the stage in a baseball park with horrible sound, I don't think those seats are going to sell that well. And what they're also doing is they're cutting ties with having a much larger scale tour. You're looking at this tour right now, and I'm looking at it really for the third or fourth time. Seattle, and then they go to San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, Commerce City, Colorado, outside of Denver, Dallas, Houston, Miami Beach, Miami Beach, Florida. Well, Hard Rock Stadium is in Miami Gardens, so I don't know why they're saying Miami Beach, because that's just a drive. It's about a 30-minute drive. Anyway, TIAA Bank Field, Jacksonville, Atlanta, Minneapolis, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Hershey, Pennsylvania, Detroit, DC, New York, Toronto, Boston, Philly. Now, yeah, still a lot of shows, and I think that's an issue too. If they did like 5 of these shows in America in ballparks, they would all probably have a better chance of selling out. They're doing a lot of shows, but they're not doing the full 30 city, 35 city tour that sometimes these artists do. They're picking the big cities, and that's where you got to go. Boston, New York. There's no Connecticut show here at the Xfinity Theater. there are some things they're trying to do to push product, and you're seeing this, and this is one of my concerns with how the show is going to be as far as the set list. Now, for instance, Weezer, if you buy the album Van Weezer, which are selling a pre-order of an album that's coming out next year now. They're doing that so that they can get sales, so people get pre-sale access. You pre-order Van Weezer, then guess what happens? You get access to the pre-sale for these shows. So they're going to sell a lot of product for their album by having people buy a pre-order for $12 or 13 or 15 or $30, depending on what bundle you buy. And then you get pre-order access. Same thing with these other albums. They're all releasing something new in 2019 or 2020. Fall Out Boy has a Greatest Hits Volume 2. I'm sure they'll have some B-sides and stuff like their first Greatest Hits Volume 1. And then Green Day has their an album too as well. They're a brand new album, just like Weezer, that they're releasing. So they're going to have pre-sale and benefits if you go and join a fan club, if you sign up for a mailing list, or you make a pre-order. Chances are you're going to get some sort of benefit on how to get tickets. And after that fades away, after that buzz fades away, I really am concerned about how this is going to sell, like I said, and how the sets are going to be. Now, Weezer does, to their credit, a great job of playing their hits, okay? I'm sorry, but after the Green album, I don't really listen to much Weezer. I mean, the Blue album is their best album, and that's really the majority of what I listen to from Weezer. I'm sorry. I mean, they're a great band. Shout out to Rivers. He grew up about 45 minutes from here in Storrs, Connecticut for a little bit. And he's named after, I think, the Hudson River, one of the rivers in New York. He's born in New York City. But, you know, I don't like anything but their hits, and they play their hits. Surf Wax Americas, It Ain't So, Undone, Sweater Song. They play those. I've seen them open up for Blink-182 back in 2009, I think it was. Yeah, 10 years ago. So they play a lot of their hits, and I think that may stay the same. But if you add a couple of Van Weezer songs in, how is that going to impact how many hits? Is a hit or two going to get cut? And plus, here's the thing about Weezer. They're the opener of after the real no-name opener, they're next. How long are they going to get? I'd rather have Fall Out Boy be the push down the bill for Weezer to be second, or even if Weezer was first. I understand Green Day's the most commercially successful band of these, and had the longest career of success, you know, from Dookie to really American Idiot is what I think of their really mainstream success. They had a longer run. But Weezer, to me, should be higher up in the bill, just from my personal opinion of these bands. I don't care much about Fall Out Boy, okay? Grand Theft Auto, a couple of stuff from Under the Cork Tree. That's it. I don't care about that new stuff, Centuries and da-da-da-da-da. I don't care. So they should be further down, but I mean, obviously they do have more commercial success. They had a second leg of success with that Century song and the stuff around that time. So it was on like everything, and it got a lot of success mainstream. So I get that, but Weezer's further down. I don't want to go if Weezer's going to be below Fall Out Boy per se. We'll see. I probably won't go, but if the ticket prices drop, maybe I might check it out. And then you have Green Day, which is a great band, but they have a lot of new stuff as well. How much of the new stuff versus the old stuff? I'd rather hear them play their 3 old albums and pick a lot of stuff from that versus having to hear all this new stuff. And I've saw them back when they had those Uno Dos Tres. That's when I saw them, the Green Day and Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. One of my first videos on this page was from that show. So I've seen them, and now they have more albums. Okay, what is it going to sound like? And the thing about these shows that to me, like I mentioned before, the ballparks and football stadiums, for these bands, do I want to sit 40 feet in the air to see Green Day for a reasonable price so far away? I don't know. I'll see Dead & Company. I'll see, like a Rolling Stones, or I'll see a big artist that really, really, really it just transcends a generation in a stadium like this. I don't know if I want to see Weezer and Fall Out Boy from 40 miles in the sky. One of the benefits of these bands is as they started to fall off, you were able to get affordable tickets in more intimate arenas and amphitheaters because you be closer for a cheap or reasonable price. Now you got to pay a lot of money for a baseball. So you know the Ticketmaster fees, the Live Nation fees are going to be expensive. So we'll see what happens. But I'm very intrigued, and we'll check in on the prices maybe if it generates enough demand or it's enough interest. But I want to see what's going to happen with these shows. And these aren't like my favoriteest bands ever per se. But I just grew up with some of these bands. Fall Out Boy, the least. Weezer and Green Day definitely were a big part of my childhood, middle school and high school, and even a little before middle school, but really more that middle school, high school. So I'm interested to see how they do, because the thing about that people aren't talking about, the ticket live concert experience bubble has bursted, okay? You have certain stuff that sells out, but even Taylor Swift can't sell out a stadium like she did 5 years ago. You know, she still sells a lot of albums, but people don't want to pay all this money to be a pie in the sky. And okay, you have a couple different changes to your set than last year. So you're seeing a lot of fatigue from these artists touring and touring and touring. Ticket prices have jumped because the concerts are the thing to go to now. Concerts are the new club. Concerts are the new album purchase. People used to buy the album. That was the big event. Listen around a boombox. Now the big event is taking a selfie in front of the stage, or being right there, showing your seats next to the stage, or just being in the building. And that bubble has burst. And I think that you're going to see a lot of these seats on resale sites below face. Outside the New York City and LA markets, and Chicago maybe, if they're playing in Chicago. Are they playing in Chicago? Let me check. Outside of these larger markets, like Boston is a smaller market. Yes, it's Fenway Park, but you know, are you going to be able to? Is it going to have the Zac Brown band effect or the Pearl Jam effect? I don't see Chicago. Yeah, I don't think they're not playing, but yeah. Oh yeah, Chicago. Yeah, Wrigley. They're playing Wrigley, so maybe that one will be big for the Midwest. But Pittsburgh, is it going to fill? Is Atlanta, SunTrust Park? Can they fill that up? Jacksonville. It's going to be really hot August 6, 2020 in Jacksonville. Guarantee it. Okay? Are they going to be able to fill up that Hard Rock Stadium? That stadium is huge. It's the Miami Dolphins stadium there. Are they going to be able to fill up that venue? That's what I want to take a look at over these next couple months and even into next year, 2020. What is going to happen with this tour? Are they going to have to start giving some discounts? And here's the thing, and I may make a video about this coming up soon. The big thing with Ticketmaster, you buy on the on sale, all right, you bought your ticket, yay, I got in, I didn't think I would beat the bots, and then due to demand in these football stadiums and baseball stadiums, due to lack of demand, they're cutting these prices in half a month, 2 months, and even 3 months before a show. They're cutting the price in half. Earlier today, someone was on the Dead End Company pre-sale, and the tickets dropped during the pre-sale in price. So people bought at this higher amount, and the same seats next to it or in the same section started to drop over time in the pre-sale, the American Express pre-sale. So there's some interesting things going on. I don't want to say shady, but interesting things going on with Live Nation, Ticketmaster, and interesting things going on with the ticket buying process and how fans are reacting to these expensive prices and fees and everything. And guess what? My prediction is you're going to have a lot of these tickets sitting around. Don't buy right away unless you want a VIP package or to be really close. Save your money. Even if you want a field seat, I think the field seats, what the prices are going to be, they're going to be so high that you may save money waiting it out and getting a field seat closer to the event, where Ticketmaster literally has the right now to drop the ticket price at any given time, to raise it at any given time. That's all I got for this. It's your boy ConcertViz34. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.